If you've been wondering what's really going on with the Monmouth County real estate market, you're in the right place. On today's video, we're going to break down everything you need to know from the rising home prices to what the Federal Reserve is doing with interest rates and why right now might be a small window of opportunity for buyers looking for a new home. So whether you're someone that's thinking about buying, selling, or just want to keep tabs on your local real estate market, stick around because we got the numbers behind them. But before we get started, if it is your first time to the channel, my name is Steve McCutcheon, and I'm a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway. And on the Live in Central New Jersey channel, we cover everything related to the Central Jersey real estate market. So if you're going to be the first one to know what's going on in Monmouth or Ocean County real estate, feel free to click the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let's get this video started. To kick things off, we're going to get straight into the numbers. The median sales price for a home here in Monmouth County is $698,000, and that's up 5% from this time last year when it was only $665,000. Truthfully, if that number was just for single-family homes, we're probably in the high sevens, low eights if I had to guess. Now, going into what the median sales price is across the whole U.S., that's $446,000. So clearly, Monmouth County is well above that range, unfortunately, for a lot of first-time buyers out there. Now, in the Northeast, we are kind of the anomaly across the rest of the U.S. right now, where we are still going up in prices, where a lot of other parts of the country are seeing a slow decline and dip. While prices are going up, the sales volume is starting to cool a little bit. We are still at 4% year over year, so we have 3,950 closed sales in 2025 to this point to date versus 3,800 last year in 2024. But if you go back to my April market report, we are actually up 13%. So we have cooled pretty significantly in that department, but we are still ahead of 2024, which is a promising sign because last year we had the lowest existing home sales in 30 years. So while it's nice to see we are surpassing that, we were on a lot heavier of a pace back in April. Getting into our inventory and homes for sale, right now we're sitting at around 2.6 months of supply. So that helps determine what kind of market we're in. Anything less than 6 will be considered a seller's, anything over will be considered a buyer's market. So that number, that 2.6, has remained pretty steady over the last couple months, which means we're basically plateauing in terms of amount of listings for sale. But this isn't uncommon by the time we get to August, because this is usually the last of our peak months in a sense, right? So while August has probably the most amount of listings every year, it might not be the most amount of sales for our spring and summer markets. A lot of times families are already under contract if they're moving into a new school district, so they're not going to be buying typically during this time frame or this month. And then if you're maybe someone that's going to have a last minute vacation, buying a home is probably not on the mind for you right now. So usually August is a little bit slower for sales, but that means a small window of opportunity might open up for someone if you don't fit into that category. Maybe you're just a first time home buyer, you don't really have like a schedule or a time set. So look out for possibly some potential deals or homes sitting a little bit longer than normal during this August timeframe. As for mortgage rates, the 30-year fixed is sitting around 6.75% or 6.75% of me filming this. That could change by the time this video comes out, so just be aware of it. It might bounce around a little bit. But this is a good and positive sign because my last market update back in June, we were sitting around 7%. So there is a slight decrease in that. And I would say the slight improvement is largely tied to what's happening at the national level, especially with the Federal Reserve. And if you're unaware, the Federal Reserve also just had their July 2025 meeting. And for the 5th straight time, they actually held interest rates steady without moving them up or down. So no cut or increase. The Federal Reserve rate still remains at around 4.25% to 4.5%. But here's where things start to get a little bit interesting for this meeting specifically. For the first time in 30 years, 2 Federal Reserve board members actually publicly dissented, meaning they disagree with the policy that was put into place. They were pushing for an immediate rate cut, citing that the labor market was weakening and that leaving rates this high for too long could tip the economy in the wrong direction. Unfortunately for them, the Federal Reserve chairman, Jerome Powell, is holding his ground and he's staying pretty steady. He wants more information before making a move in either direction. We're more leaning towards more of a rate cut at this point, but just in general. I'd say, I'm completely spitballing here, but in my opinion, he's probably watching for consumer spending, the jobs report, and the ripple effect on tariffs. So they're relatively pretty new. We haven't seen the full effect on them. So if I had to guess, that's probably what he's looking forward to. But there is growing speculation after the meeting that we could see multiple rate cuts throughout the rest of this year, so 2025, probably as soon as even September at this point. So this is something to really watch because it's going to affect how the real estate market does react. So what does this really all mean, whether you are buying or selling? Here's the deal. If rates do drop in the fall, we will likely see a flood of buyers coming back into the market that have been on either 1 on the sidelines or 2 getting into it for the first time. So you're going to have more demand for the same homes, more competitions, and more bidding wars. That's all going to lead to higher prices on the homes themselves. So while people might think waiting for the fall for the rates to drop will save them money, it probably will work against you in that point because right now you'll have less competition, less buyers out there. So if you buy a $700,000 home right now, instead of waiting a couple months, the same home might cost you $725 when you have to outbid a couple different other parties, right? So although the rate dropped for you, your monthly probably didn't change that much because you would have had a cheaper home at just a slightly higher rate. and you can also refinance down the road. So what you really did was just lost down on $25,000 of appreciation. Now it's a completely made up scenario, but it sounds pretty realistic compared to what we've seen over the last 5 years. And on the selling side of things, pricing and presentation are absolutely crucial right now. So I've seen this. I've been saying this for months, but I've been seeing this firsthand on the selling side of things. So I had a listing back in my development a couple months back, maybe about in the April timeframe, and we listed not the highest in the neighborhood by any means, but we were relatively pretty close. Figured we might get multiple offers and push us past that point, set a new comp for the development. Didn't end up going that way. It was still a very nice home, but we got 5,000 under asking and only one offer. Well, probably only about 8 to 10 showings too, so it wasn't even that like manic. Recently, I had a couple listings, one in Tinton Falls in Monmouth County and one up in Roselle Park in Union County. Both of them priced on the money. One of the homes was brand new and gorgeous. Everything was redone. Another one needed quite a bit of work. But they listened to on the price. We got them down exactly where they need to be. And we drove the price. We had 6 offers on each of them and drove it $40,000 over asking for both of them. So it is still possible to get those numbers. But if you misprice it by just enough, maybe $10,000, $15,000, you then can get into that situation like I was just talking about with the buyers, or where you can go maybe a one-on-one with the seller themselves. So it really is crucial to price your home correctly in this market, because while we do have historically low inventory right now, we are on near 12-month highs for Monmouth County. So at the same time, buyers do have more options what they had probably over the last 4 to 5 years. To kind of wrap everything up for you into one spot, if you wait to buy in hopes of a lower interest rate, it might cost you in terms of facing higher competition, more offers or multiple bids, and fewer opportunities because homes are going to start disappearing. On the other hand, if you were to buy now, you're going to have less competition, more homes available for you, and you can always refinance later instead of paying a premium in more of a frenzied market. For sellers, your trade-off is going to be timing. If you wait too long, inventory might start to climb a little bit, and you're going to have to price it even more competitively than you do have to right now. So realistically, if you are selling, just price accordingly on the money the first time, and you're probably going to drive the price over asking and be very happy in the end. So with that, if you are thinking about moving, buying, or selling in the Monmouth County area, or you even just want to make sense of what the market's going on right now, feel free to shoot me a message, give me a call. Happy to answer any of the questions that you might have on our current real estate market. So whether that's 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or even a year out, it doesn't matter to me. Let's just get you on the right path towards your real estate goals. If you're looking to move to a different part of just the Central Jersey area, check out the 2 videos popping up, and hopefully they help out a bit too. Have a great day.